coming. I'll try to explain business sutra as a concept. इंग्रजी में बोलूं कि मराठी में बोलूं? Chinese. Okay, I'll speak all languages, as many languages as I can. So let's begin with the first word, belief. म्हणजे काय? What is belief? तो हिंदी में उसके लिए शब्द होगा विश्वास. What is belief? So let's begin with that meaning. And I'll give you a simple definition. Simple definition of belief is assumption. What is your assumption about life? Whatever is your assumption about life is your belief. Every human being has an assumption. And that assumption is deciding how you behave in life. जैसा विश्वास, वैसा व्यवहार, वैसा व्यापार. As is belief, so is behavior, so is business. So whatever is your assumption is deciding how you behave. Look at all the people who work for you. If they work in a particular way, it is based on an assumption. And different people have different assumptions. Some people believe that if you work hard, you will make money. Some people don't believe. They said, no, hard work doesn't make you money. Smart work makes money. Some people say, no, real businessman does not do any work. दूसरों से काम करवाता है. So different assumptions. So that's the first thing. I'll explain it as the session goes. What we'll do now is try to next understand the next word, because the topic given to me was business sutras. So what is the meaning of the word sutra? So most people, when they think of sutra, they think of Kama Sutra. So that is the only thing. They have never read the book, of course. It is the most boring book on earth. But they think it is something exciting. वाचले नाही काही. वाचत नाही काही. बघतात. But so let us understand the sutra. What does the word sutra mean? So let's hope this works. This is on. Take it. Yes, it is. To understand sutra, you must understand something which is a peculiar practice in the southern part of India. It is not as popular in festival time you see it mostly, but in south you see it even today. In Maharashtra they call it Rangoli. In Tamil Nadu they call it Kolam. So एक घर है, this is the house. In front of it there is a drawing which is painted. It is called a kolam. Let's look at this carefully and you'll understand what I'm saying. So what is a kolam? It is a diagram created every morning by women outside the house. Just as we brush our teeth to feel fresh, you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you feel fresh. In the same way, this woman is brushing the teeth of her house to make the house fresh. So for thousands of years, women used to do this thing of refreshing the house through a practice known as kolam or rangoli. Look at it very carefully. What is it? It is a set of dots, just dots, and there is a line going around the dots. The one line, look at it, it's one line which goes around all the dots. That's the trick. So it is dots and line, one line. Now, if you increase the number of dots, you get a complex pattern. Look at this, very complex pattern. Number of dots have increased. Over here, there are few dots. Over here, there are many dots. On different days, you can do different patterns using the same dots. The same dots can be joined differently to create different patterns. Like this. Another pattern. दूसरा रंगोली, दूसरा column. Different women will draw it differently. Same dots, give it to different women, they will create different patterns. So the patterns change according to complexity, on different days, by different people. So what do you see? Different people have different patterns. This is in Chennai, Mylapore. It's the Kolam festival. What is the meaning of this? Every person, all of us, our mind is something like a kolam. हमारा जो मन है वो बिल्कुल इस तरह है. Dots are the data points. The data that is in your mind. All the data, all the information that you have collected from the world. वो जो line है, can you shut the door? From there, there's a lot of noise coming. A lot of excited people outside. So the dots are data points. The information that you possess. Now, how do you join the dots? Every person in this room joins the dots differently. That is your belief system. That line is Sutra. That is called a Sutra. धागा. जिससे तुम अलग अलग बिंदु को जोड़ते हो एक रंगोली बनाने के लिए. Some people can handle many data. You give them data after data, they can absorb and transform it into a single column. Some people can't handle it. They say नहीं हमको ज़्यादा information नहीं चाहिए. जितना है उसी से हम सुखी है. Which means I don't want to change the pattern in my head. On different days, the same dots can be joined differently. You can use different sutras to join the same dots. Then you gradually understand the way you look at a situation, the way you look at data, other people look at the same data very differently. तो आप जैसे दुनिया को देखते हो, दूसरा आदमी वैसा नहीं देखता. उसका दृष्टिकोण अलग है. Different people look at the same data point in a different way, which means they have a different pattern. So in this room there are say 300 people, there are 300 different columns. And all these columns will change tomorrow. Why will they change? Because new data is given. So at the end of this session, I'll try to give you some data, new bindus, new dots. The column will change. New techniques to join the dots. So what happens? Your mind expands. New ways of thinking. So now if I ask which column is better, everybody will say my column is better. मेरा रंगोली अच्छा है, तुम्हारा रंगोली अच्छा नहीं है. My rangoli is good, your rangoli is not good. Exactly in the same way, I will say, the way I think about the world, I am right, you are wrong. And this is the mind. Imagine if you have got 5,000 people in your company, every person in your room has different column. Now what do we typically say? No, everybody should be aligned in the same way. In other words, only one column allowed in this company. दिमाग नहीं लगाने का, जो बोला है वही करने का, which means your column is useless. If you want to work for me, work with my column. Learn to join the dots exactly the way I tell you. Now what happens because of that? Your mind starts to contract. Because you stop thinking. You stop opening your mind. Your mind doesn't increase. You think only in one way. One way is the right way. Finished. अटक गए. Growth नहीं होगा. वृद्धि नहीं होगी. You won't grow because your mind has stopped to expand. Because you're not letting new dots, new lines, new patterns come. And you're not appreciating other people's dots. So the purpose of this session is what? The purpose of this session is to find new dots, to find new sutras, new columns, create new patterns in your mind. दुनिया को अलग तरीके से देखो, शायद कुछ मिलेगा. Maybe you learn something. तो दिमाग खोलो. Open your mind. That is the purpose of this session. How to expand the mind. The mind, if it is, अगर विश्वास छोटा है तो व्यापार भी छोटा रहेगा. If your mind is small, your belief systems are small, your patterns are small, your data points are small, your business will also be small. You won't think big. So you will be happy कि बस पूरे 10 करोड़ का बिजनेस है, बस मैं अभी सुखी हूं. 1000 करोड़ नहीं सोचोगे, 10,000 करोड़ नहीं सोचोगे, क्योंकि इच्छा है लेकिन क्षमता नहीं है. क्षमता क्यों नहीं? Because your mind has not expanded. So if you want to grow in life, you have to expand your mind. And therefore, I invite you to expand your mind. That's the purpose of this session. I will explain few concepts, not too much. Think about it. It is such jhoot, don't think like that. Let it agitate you. Let it make you think. Question all the things that you have heard before. Something will come. पता नहीं क्या आएगा, कुछ आएगा, नया सूत्र निकलेगा. New dots, new patterns will emerge. For that, let us begin with a story. So this is theory, this is heavy stuff, this is business sutra. This is what we will do. We will change the rangoli of our mind. We will appreciate other people's rangoli. But first, let's listen to a story. So this is the story. This story, this character, this image is found in Jain mythology, Jain Agama. You will find this in the Pitakas, which is Buddhist. You will also find it in the Puranas, the Hindu Puranas. So what is the story? There is a place somewhere far away called Swarg. Swarg means paradise. What does it mean? It is तारों के बीच में राज है. What does it mean? वो एक ऐसी जगह है जहां पे where there is a cow called Kamadhenu. It's a wish-fulfilling cow. Stand in the front of the cow, ask for anything and you will get it. There is a tree called Kalpataru. It is a wish-fulfilling tree. Stand under the tree, ask for anything, you will get it. This is Chintamani, wish-fulfilling jewel. Ask for anything, if you have it, you will get it. So what is paradise? Paradise is a place where all wishes are fulfilled without any effort. Anybody with finance background? This in finance background means infinite return with no investment. So imagine a business which has only return and no investment. That is swarg. Right? काम नहीं करने का, पैसा आता रहेगा घर में. ऐसे सोचते हैं ना हम लोग. After the age of 40 I will retire and money will just come. You have those investment policies. Retire at the age of 40. काम नहीं करने का, घर में पैसा आएगा. What are you explaining? 2000 years ago, people said the paradise is this. A place where there is no effort and only reward. No risk, nothing. Just reward, reward, reward. You go to the ATM, withdraw 5,000 rupees, automatically 5,000 rupees is replenished. So tension बिल्कुल नहीं है life में, right? This is Swarg. Swarg का राजा कौन? Who is the king of Swarg? Who is the king of paradise? The king of paradise is Indra. Swarg ka raja. He's so rich that his elephant is also white in color. He's so rich that his elephant is so special, it does not have one trunk, it has 7 trunks. He is so rich that the elephant does not have 2 tusks. It has 6 tusks. He is very rich because he has the wish fulfilling tree. He decides, I want to have a 6-pack abdomen. He'll get it. He doesn't have to go to the treadmill. He doesn't have to do those anabolic steroids. He doesn't have to put Botox on his face like Shah Rukh Khan. But he will get it. He just has to wish. He just has to wish it. You just have to wish. So he must be a very great guy. But the problem with Indra, the story goes, when you read the Puranas, the story goes that he's always in a Rana Bhumi. He's always fighting. हमेशा झगड़ा करता है. He's always fighting. He's in a battleground. He's always in a state of conflict. So some rishi performs tapasya, he gets very nervous. And he says, Menaka, jaldi jao. Because he gets nervous, कि competition आ गया. कोई राजा, any king performs a yajna, he gets nervous. He says, घोड़े को चुरा ले. Steal the horse. Any asura is born, he goes running to his father. Papa, problem. Solve the problem. So look at this. He is constantly described. This is Indra. He is the king of paradise. He has everything, but he is an insecure god. A mythology serial, if you watch, they will say that Indra ka singhasan dagmagata hai. The throne of Indra is always shaking. He is always afraid he will lose his mighty position. He is always afraid his business will collapse. He is always afraid that kal ko job nahi rahega. He is always afraid stock market will crash. So he has everything, but he is always fighting. He is extremely insecure. Does he sound familiar? Have you met someone like Indra in your life? Maybe when you look into the mirror? No? Indra Charitra. So 2000 years ago somebody wrote the story. Are they writing about some magical character or are they writing about human beings? कहानी के माध्यम से कुछ सच बता रहे हैं. Through a story, they are trying to communicate a concept. What are they trying to communicate? See, why is he insecure? He is insecure because Lakshmi will run away. Lakshmi भाग जाएगी. लक्ष्मी का मतलब क्या है? It can mean customer. Customer कल भाग जाएगा. मेरे तरफ नहीं आएगा, कहीं और जाएगा. He'll go to another shop. My customer will go to another company. He will buy products from another shop. He will buy other products, competitor products. I'm afraid, I'm anxious. Lakshmi can mean employee. He may leave job here and join the next company. Attrition rate will go up. I'm insecure. Lakshmi can mean investor. I'm a promoter. I need investment. But the investor has withdrawn investment and says, I don't want to invest in you. I will go somewhere else. Lakshmi bhag gayi. It can also be interpersonal relationships. It could be the fact that I'm a boss in the company, but nobody likes to work with me. They all are running away from me. They only come to my cabin when I force them to come to my cabin. Otherwise, they don't come into my cabin. मेरे से बात भी नहीं करते. मेरा बेटा भी मुझसे बात नहीं करता. लक्ष्मी भाग रही है. See the concept. Conscious. The problem is Lakshmi is described as chanchala, restless. That's the description of Lakshmi. The goddess of wealth is described as chanchala. Now what does it mean? In Bengali they call her Lokhi Tera, which means looking London, going Tokyo. You think the contract is coming to you, it goes to the scoundrel in the next office. Hota hai? You think you will get promoted, somebody else gets promoted. You think you will get the business contract, it goes to someone else. That is the field. Stock market, you can never predict it. Economy, you can't predict. Nobody has been able to predict. It's such a difficult subject. But the problem with Lakshmi, or not the problem, one thing the scriptures will always say, Lakshmi always walks towards Vishnu. She's called Lakshmi Vallabha. She Vishnu is beloved of Lakshmi. She loves him. She sits next to Vishnu. She clings to his feet. She multiplies herself for him. What are they trying to tell? Look at this. Vishnu lives in a place called Vaikunt. Vaikunt is heaven. Now, paradise and heaven in India have two different meanings. Paradise means Swarg, heaven means Vaikunt. ये अलग जगह है. Vaikunt में Vishnu is on a So, ये यूज करते हैं, don't change. Vaikunt is heaven. Now, Vishnu is seated on this. Here it is showing a lotus, but usually he sits on a serpent, and which is a sea, and the sea has waves, and he is moving in a rhythm. Now, when Indra is moving, he says, Singhasan dagmagata hai. He's nervous. Vishnu seems comfortable with the rise and fall, with the boom and the bust, the changes. He's very comfortable. He has no issues with it. He is not in a Ranabhumi, he's in a Rangabhumi. He's in a playground. He's always happy. He's in Kurukshetra, he's happy. He's fighting Ravan, he's happy. He is in a conflict situation, war situation, he's happy. He's always in a playground, he's having fun. And there's positive energy around him. So everybody wants to be with him, surrounded with him. Now this is the story. So look at the story very carefully. Indra chases Lakshmi and Lakshmi chases Vishnu. Indra runs after fortune. Fortune is attracted by Vishnu. Vishnu attracts Lakshmi. Indra chases Lakshmi. Now ask yourself, who are you? Are you Indra or are you Vishnu? Do you run after Lakshmi or does Lakshmi run after you? Do you run after the customer or does the customer run after you? Do you run after talent or does the talent run after you? Do you run after investment or does the investor run after you? What would you like to be? Indra or Vishnu? This is the Indian method of management. Now you will say, ये तो mythological, this is not real, this is not practical. Standard answer, I can see some people's minds working already. Reality is Indra. Vishnu is mythology. Indra is reality. Chasing money is reality, attracting money is not reality. This is, most people will say, so I have to give a proof. And best proof is an American proof. If I give you an Indian proof, you will not trust me. So I will give you an American proof. This photograph. Look at this photograph carefully. They are not beggars. These are customers. Customers outside Apple store before the launch of iPad. Product is running after customer or customer is running after product? Indra Charitra or Vishnu Charitra? What is so special about this product that even before it is launched, people want it? They've paid money for it. There's already a black market for it. विष्णु चरित्र, लक्ष्मी मेरे तरफ आएगी, मैं लक्ष्मी के पीछे नहीं भागूंगा. This is Indian management principle. Normally, we look at business in the form of target, task, rules. That is how we look at business. The vision statement, mission statement, objective, goal, tasks, rules, systems, processes, key performance indicators. Indians will say that is important. The tradition, this is important. Uska value hai. But you are forgetting the most important element, the human element, talent, the leader. Is he Indra or Vishnu? If he thinks like Indra, around him there will always be Ranabhumi. If he thinks like Vishnu, around him there will always be Rangabhumi. Which brings me to the 3B model. In management, nobody takes you seriously unless you have a model. Yeah? So I also have a model. It's called a 3B model. Belief, behavior, business. Business is what you do. Your key result area, your balance sheet, your assets, your market capitalization. Behavior is how you do it. Your key performance indicators, your systems, your processes, your methodologies. But underlying that is belief. Why do you do it? Why do you go to work? Now people say, I go to work to make money. No, that is what? Why do you go to work? And why do you want to start a business? Why do you want to be successful in your venture? Why? Vyavahar, Vyapar and then Vishwas. Now look at the fundamental difference between the two. Another way of defining what? Business is about what you have. Assets, liabilities, debt, equity, property, all those things. What? Behavior is what you do. Karte kya ho? Belief is what you are. Tum ho kaun? In Dhriti Vishnu. Now, I'll use some traditional Indian words. Business is measurable. Behavior is measurable. I can measure behavior, I can measure business. They are tangible, measurable. हिंदी में इसके लिए शब्द है सगुण है. सगुण है, इसलिए you can measure it. And we have been taught that all things that can be measured can be managed. Belief is intangible. I really don't know who you are. I don't care. I only focus on what you do. But who are you and who am I? ये दिखाई नहीं, वो निर्गुण है. Intangible, therefore not measurable, therefore not manageable. So we don't bother about it. So in modern management, we remove this part. We said, let's not waste our time with this. In Business Sutra, this is the first thing. ये बीज है, इसी से शुरू होता है सब कुछ. This is the reason of success and failure. So the fundamental principle is, if you are Indra, then around you there will always be conflict situations and you will create Swarga. If you are Vishnu, you will always create happy situations around you. You will create Vaikunt. Lakshmi दोनों तरफ विराजमान है. There is fortune in both sides. There is Lakshmi, wealth in Swarg. There is wealth in Vaikunt. The difference is, this is profit, labha. This is shubha labha. Happy profit. Sukha. Fighting, there is no tension. In both places there is your balance sheet is wonderful. But in one place with the balance sheet comes heart attack. In the other place there is balance sheet and this balance sheet is complete bliss. This is the difference, the Indian approach to management. How does one do that? So, many techniques. I will explain only one point. I won't go in detail. I will explain one point. If you like it, then please buy my book. So the method is called darshan. Gaze, dekho, look. In India, all the gods, if you go to the temples, the gods have bade aankhe hote hain, bade aankhe. When you go to Saptashringi, you go to any of the temples, the gods have big eyes, silver eyes, they look at you. And you are supposed to look at them. But what do we do when we go to the temple? Darshan karo. Jate hain aur aankh band karte hain. So we don't look at the customer. We don't look at the employee. We don't look at the regulator. We don't look at the investor. And this is a fundamental error in business. 100 professors tell, dekho, customer insight. We don't do it. We don't invest that much energy in looking at people. You don't focus on people. And what does it mean? So the first point is darshan karo, look. Leadership is about seeing what other people do not see. Everybody has eyes, doesn't mean everybody can see. Leadership in business, in personal life, is the ability to see what others do not see. In Sanskrit, the word for such people is rishi, जिसको दृष्टि होती है. Not normal drishti. Drishti is sight. He has divya drishti, insight. He can see what others do not see. So I'll show you just one thing and let's see whether we see it. There's one point I want to focus on. Do we see things? Do we actually see things in life? First thing, do we see that humans are 99% animals? Look at this slide carefully. That is you. 99% pashu. So imagine if I tell you this hall is filled with 99% animals. I am not technically wrong. Because from a genetic point of view, we are only 1% different from the bonobo monkey. 99% our genetic makeup is exactly that of animals. Which means our animal nature is inside us. Only 1% difference. So if you understand animals, you will understand 99% of human behavior. पशु व्यवहार से पुरुष व्यवहार समझ में आता है. पशु को देखो, पुरुष समझ जाओगे. Observe animals, you will understand a lot about human beings. So let's observe animals. Look at this picture. The sun is rising, the deer is running fast and the cheetah is running after the deer. Two animals. Predator and prey. If I ask you, who will you save? 90% of the people will say immediately save the deer. Why? Because it is vegetarian. But think carefully. Why do you want to save the deer? Because in your mind you have an assumption. Remember the word belief, Vishwas? Mera Vishwas hai. What is the Vishwas? This is villain, this is victim, and I am the hero. मैं बचाऊंगा, मैं दुनिया को बचाऊंगा. We want to save everybody. See, that is an assumption. ये विश्वास है, ये मैं नायक और ये खलनायक. Now look at it carefully. This is nature. In nature there are no villains and victims. Every animal, कोई पशु बेचारा नहीं होता. बेचारा नहीं होता. In nature, everybody has got equal opportunity. It is the ultimate meritocracy. If the deer runs fast, it will survive. If the cheetah runs faster, it will survive. Whoever runs fast will survive. Who are you to interfere? But we want to interfere. That just happens in life also. Everywhere you see people want to save. They want to save India. They want to save the world. Without observe carefully. Villain kaun, hero kaun, victim kaun. Where is the problem? Your analysis is perhaps wrong. Let us look at the cheetah carefully. This is the cheetah. The cheetah says, he's afraid. बहुत ही डरा हुआ है. खाना मिलेगा? Will I get to eat? This is your cheetah. बिचारी है. खाना नहीं मिला है उसको. If she doesn't get food, she will starve and die. Her babies will starve and die. She is hungry. The hungrier she is, the better hunter she becomes. She's hungry. Look at this in human terms. Is this an animal or a human being? Because animals will say, will I succeed? Do you ask this question? Will I succeed? Will I catch? Will I reach the target? So, aap bhi pashu. We are also like the cheetah. We are hungry. We want something. We use words like ambition. I want to succeed. I want to do something in life. Pashu prakriti. I want something and therefore I have a target. What is the Hindi word for target? Laksh. From Laksh comes Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. So look at this picture carefully again. This cheetah is running after Lakshmi and you are saying, I will not let you have Lakshmi. इसको लक्ष्मी निंदा कहते हैं. I will not let you make money. I will not let you have ambition. So ambition is bad. Desire is bad. You should not succeed. Don't know rubbish. Don't. ये सब नहीं चाहिए. Lakshmi. But now let's go to the other side of the story. This is the deer. Deer doesn't want Lakshmi at that moment. It has a lot of Lakshmi. Lot of food to eat. In fact, the more food it has, the more afraid it is. Because the more grass, more cheetahs. And you know the problem? The cheetah, if you ask the cheetah who is lucky, the cheetah will say the deer is lucky. Why? Because every day, the cheetah gets food once in 10 days. It will keep hunting and after 10 days it will get food maybe. But the deer gets food every day. It gets up in the morning and can eat. Then you ask the deer who is lucky. And the deer will say, no, the cheetah is lucky. Why is the cheetah lucky? Because jab cheetah khata, it eats once in 10 days. But when it eats a full stomach. A deer can never eat a full stomach because when your stomach is full, you cannot run. Right? That is why the day you get your bonus, you also get your target for the next quarter. Because we will not let you have hajam karne nahi denge. Immediately I'll create hunger inside you. Kalka target, next quarter target, next year target, target. I want you to be cheetah so that you get me laksh. But what does this deer want? Look at the fear in her eyes. Look at how frightened she is. She is afraid. Will I be eaten? Will I be exploited? Is somebody taking me for granted? Will I be exploited? That is the fear of the deer. It wants security. So when we get a job, first we say, I want a job. Then we want a better paying job. Finally, we say, I want a permanent job. Why? I want security. You go to buy a washing machine. First thing you will say, value for money. Lakshmi. But then you will say, guarantee hai, warranty, after sale service. Now what is that? You see, in olden days, in order to make yourself secure, people used to build around the house a fence. A fence is a fort, like a fort. Hindi word for fort is kila. Any other word? Durg. Sindhu Durg. So from Durg comes Durga, another goddess. Laksha, say Lakshmi. Durg, say Durga. One gives food, resources. The other gives you security. Security is power. When you don't have power, you are insecure. So when people say he's very power hungry, it means he's highly insecure. So whenever you say he's a very powerful man, उसके पास बहुत power है, मतलब he's very insecure. That is the meaning. Darshan करो, ठीक से दर्शन करो. Anybody who craves for power is actually young, भयभीत, डरी हुई, afraid, frightened, terrified. It will be exploited. It wants power. So the question is, well, what is the difference between humans and animals? And this is the only difference. The only difference is that we are animals with larger brains. That is the only difference. That 1% difference means you have got less than 100 grams of tissue in the front of your head. You have a big head. You have got what is called the neofrontal cortex. That's the only difference between humans and animals. That is the only difference. Now what is it? Now think about it. That is the reason in India you put tilak on the head. Why? दिखाने के लिए कि बॉस इसी के लिए तो पशु नहीं है. But उसके अंदर what does it give you? This gives you one thing that animals cannot do. Can you guess? What is the one thing that humans can do that animals cannot do? Think because of dash. What is this dash? What? Language because of dash. What is dash? Language is secondary. What is primary? Think. You're using it right now. You're using it. It is so natural to you. Feelings, animals have feelings. Huh?
Imagine.
Imagination. Animals cannot imagine. The dolphin perhaps can, and the chimpanzee also can, some, but nothing in the human capability. Human scale is so vast that I can imagine. Now, because you can imagine, you can have vision statements. Because you can imagine, you can have planning. So, deer, look at the tiger. It will hunt when khana ho gaya, bas, ho gaya. He's happy. But humans will say, kal ka khana, tomorrow's food, day after tomorrow's food, retirement ke baad food, bachchon ka food, 10 pushtiyon ka food. So I have to save money, savings account, fixed deposit, insurance scheme, mutual funds, debt fund, equity fund, gold. उस घर को कुछ हो गया तो प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने का कितना प्रॉपर्टी जितना खरीद सकते हो. Then finally now the latest trend is buy property in London also. You don't know what will happen in India. Insecurity, see imagination working over time. But that is why you vision, planning, all comes from imagination. And because you can imagine things like this. You've amplified fears. Pralay, sab kuch pralay ho jayega. Everything will collapse. Business will collapse. I have to de-risk myself. So I have de-riskers. I have internal audit. I have insurance companies. I want to be free of all risk. Amplified. It's amplified. Obsessed. We are obsessed with sab kuch khatam ho jayega kal. Animal does not have that feeling. You see, when a deer is afraid, when is a deer afraid? If it can see a tiger, it can hear a tiger, or it can smell a tiger. But humans can imagine a tiger all the time. We are always afraid. We are more afraid than any animal. That is why we call it, if I don't use the word fear, I use the word stress. Then we say, हाँ, भी समझ में आया. मतलब वही है. And then, the opposite is also true. We can also see this. Look at this picture. This picture is based on a line from the Bible which says, the lion shall lay with the lamb. In Gujarati it is called Wag Bakri Chai. But look carefully. This picture does not exist in nature. It cannot exist in nature. It can only exist in your imagination. It can only be created using Photoshop. It doesn't exist in reality. But अच्छा लगता है देखने को, सुख शांति, where there is no scarcity, no predator, सब लोग सुखी हैं, वैकुंठ, जहाँ पे भूख नहीं है. But you know, because of imagination, something special. With imagination, I can do this. Look at this picture carefully. A bird is looking into its reflection. It cannot recognize itself. It will say, is this a predator? Is this a prey? Is this a mate? Is this a rival? If it is none of the above, it will leave. It can't recognize itself. But what happens when a human being looks at the mirror? This is Narcissus from Greek mythology. He's looking into the mirror. All of us look into the mirror. Now ask yourself a very fundamental question. When you look into the mirror, what do you see? Do you see yourself or do you see your imagination of yourself? क्या देखते हो? What do you see? अपने आप को देखते हो या अपनी कल्पना को देखते हो? So I look into the mirror and I say, I am diamond. मैं हीरा हूँ. Then I go to office and I meet my boss. And my boss says, you are not diamond, you are plastic. So I get like बहुत depressed, very depressed. I go home, I meet my wife and I ask her, what do you think, diamond or plastic? She says, no, you're not plastic, you are cheap plastic. Now look at this, diamond, plastic, cheap plastic. What is true? All three are imaginations. My imagination, boss's imagination, imagination of my wife. Who do I give value to? Kalpana ही है ना. But देखो कल्पना का power क्या है? The imagination can give us depression. उसको लगता है मैं cheap plastic हूँ, depressed. All depression comes from such imaginary things. तेरी औकात क्या है? हिंदी में बोलेंगे ना? But that is imagination. कल्पना. Therefore, the famous Indian phrase, सब माया है. This whole fear of how I'm imagined, this is called self-image. Can you control people's imagination? You can't. Can you control your customer's imagination? No. Can you control your employee's imagination? No. Can you control your investor's imagination? No. Imagination is like water. The Sanskrit word for water is saras. Saras says Saraswati. The third goddess. You see, we forget that our imagination is doing these tricks with us. You can't control it. Look at this picture. Now ask yourself, when you meet someone, are you a predator or a prey? How do you see yourself? मैं उसको खा जाऊंगा या मुझे खा जाएगा? And both are imagining themselves. I enter the boss cabin with fear because predator. And he is thinking, बिचारा देख predator आ गया. Look at this picture, before signing the contract and after signing the contract. Before sales, after sales, suddenly the picture will change. When you want to buy the air conditioner, you are the deer and you are chasing the salesman is like the cheetah running after you. Sir. Once you buy the air conditioner, repairman doesn't come, fitting person doesn't come, after sales service doesn't come, then you are running after them, calling the call center again and again. I want you to come, sir. We guarantee all. Kuch nahi hota. This is what happens. Do you think like this? Am I on top of the pack or bottom of the pack? Me pudhari. I am the leader. Manje kuthe. मुंबईत एक सिस्टम, दिल्लीमध्ये दुसरं सिस्टम. मुंबईत मी इथे असतो, दिल्लीला इथे असतो. This is the power of the human imagination. I become alpha and omega at different points of time. Pashu. We don't think like that, but darshan karo, dikhai dega. Drishti, open your mind and you'll start seeing insecurities of people. You'll see the pecking order, organizational hierarchies. Acha lagta hai. I want to be this. I feel very powerful. Acha lagta hai. I feel this. I like it. We all want to be like lions, powerful, dominating. Nobody wants to be this. And all of us feel like that. No? Kya rules? So first thing I do when I become a big power person, I will break rules. Rules are meant, I will be sher. Circus ka sher nahi. And unfortunately, organizations depend on rules. Rules are this. They control us. They tell us, red signal, stop. Green signal, go. Rules, systems, processes, whether we like it or not, they are necessary for society. And which means we are always being controlled and we get irritated, annoys us. And I say, one day, I will be beyond rules. I will live without rules. So, the question in my mind is, does my leader see me as I see myself? How do I see myself? I see myself as diamond, but everybody lives plastic, cheap plastic. Arey, mera aukat kya hai? And we are all worried about this. Artha. Purushartha. मैं हूँ कौन? कौन हूँ मैं? Am I what I imagine myself, diamond, or am I as you imagine me? That's where Saraswati comes. Imagination. My imagination, your imagination. Different columns in the room. Different people think differently. Am I sensitive to how you are thinking? You look at me as a predator. I look at you as prey. Am I sensitive? Let me explain this in the form of a story. Let me explain this in the form of a story. And you'll understand what I'm explaining. What is darshan? Look at this story. Very simple story. We have heard this in the Ramayana. It's a common story. Sita has been kidnapped and her husband Ram is anxious. He wants to know where she is. The only data he has is southern direction. Dakshin ke disha mein jao. So without eating, without drinking, he doesn't sleep, he walks in the southern direction, walks days and days and days, followed by his brother Lakshman. His eyes are red, his body is covered with sweat and grime. He is not resting. And suddenly he meets a lady called Shabari. Shabari stops, comes in front of him and stop. And he stops. He says, sit down. Ram sits down. And Shabari says, you look hungry. Why have you not eaten? Let me feed you. खाना खाओगे? मेरे पास बेर है. I have got some berries. Why don't you eat these berries? So Ram says, fine, feed me. So what does Shabari do? She takes the berry, bites it and gives it to him. He eats it. Takes the second berry, bites it. She doesn't like the taste, throws it away. Takes the third berry, bites it and gives it to Lakshman, the younger brother. And Lakshman recoils in horror and uses the phrase, "Jhuta khilaoge? You will give me berries contaminated with your saliva? You pre-tasted it and giving it to me. Don't you have any manners? What kind of a woman are you? Mannerless woman." And Shabari is very upset. She's very, very depressed. She says, "Arey, Kshama karo, forgive me, forgive me." And Ram looks at Lakshman and says, "What are you doing? Darshan karo. Look. What are you seeing and what am I seeing? Or both of us are the same dots. But the way you are drawing the column and the way I am drawing the column is very different. What are you seeing? What am I seeing? We are two men in the middle of the jungle carrying weapons. How many women you think will come in front of us? This woman has come in front of us. She is very brave. That is what I can see. Why is she coming in front of us? For our benefit or her benefit? For our benefit. So she is brave and she is generous. Why is she eating the berry? She wants to ensure that the sweetest berry comes to us. So not only is she brave, not only she is generous, she is a good host. She is a caring host. This is what I can see. What can you see? You see a woman without manners. Which manners? Manner that you learnt in the palace. Dekho theek se, she is a tribal woman. She has never lived in the palace. She doesn't know the rules of the palace. How will she know झूठा का मतलब क्या है? तुम प्यार नहीं देखते हो. Rules देखते हो. Rules. That is why you are Lakshman and I am Ram. इसलिए तुम रहे लक्ष्मण, मैं बना राम. केवल दर्शन में फर्क है. Every day in our life, lots of Shabaris come in our life, giving us berries. Do we behave like Lakshman or do we behave like Ram? How do we look at people? Do we look at people? दर्शन करते हैं. शायद इसलिए हम इंद्र रहते हैं और विष्णु नहीं बनते. So let's look at a practical tip. So I'll give you one practical tip. Very popular ritual in India called Arati. What is Arati? In front of God, you take a lamp and you wave it around. And then you sing a bhajan. Have you ever listened to a bhajan carefully? All bhajans are the same. Oh God, you are so good looking. You have beautiful eyes, you have a beautiful nose, you have a beautiful lips. Lambodara. You have a good stomach. Then you will say you killed him. You defeated Demon 1, Demon 2, Demon 3. You rescued Devotee 1, Devotee 2, Devotee 3. Why are you telling God all this? He knows it. And you don't tell it once, you tell it 3 times a day, every day. Why? Because भगवान को भी अच्छा लगता है अपने बारे में अच्छा सुनना. You feel powerful, you feel happy. Now ask yourself, you meet your friend after 10 years and he looks at you and he says, "Arey, ganja ho gaya. You've grown bald." Now you get so depressed, you don't want to talk to your friend. But he'll say, "But I have been honest, I'm honest. Why do you hate me? Because I'm honest." But you don't want to talk to him. But imagine the same friend told you, "Arey, you look exactly the way you looked in college." You know he's lying, but you still love him. Because he has now made you feel powerful. तो बातों से यू कैन गिव पावर एंड टेक पावर. दुर्गा दे सकते हो, दुर्गा ले सकते हो. आरती का मतलब है भगवान को दुर्गा देना ताकि वो आपको लक्ष्मी दे. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you did aarti of your parents? Ask yourself, when was the last time you did aarti of your husband or wife? When was the last time you did aarti of your employees? When was the last time you did aarti of your customers? When did you do last time the aarti of the investors? We don't. Only during appraisal time. And usually it is ninda stuti. We don't. And it kitna kharcha hota hai? How much time does it take to praise someone? And bhakti has to be, bhajan has to be genuine. False nahi ho sakta hai. Why is it so difficult for us to find something positive in people around us? Make a list of 10 people who are important in your life and write 3 positive qualities about them. It will take you 1 hour. Maybe, much more. But if I tell you write 3 negative things about them within half a minute. That is how our mind has been conditioned. Ranabhumi, Ranabhumi, Ranabhumi. You see, every second of your life, every minute, every second of your life, you can transform into Ranabhumi or Angabhumi. You can think like Lakshman and make it Ranabhumi, mannerless, or you can think like Ram and make it Rangabhumi, brave, generous person. Both are correct, but ek darshan kar raha hai. So the tip is, leaders do darshan. Leaders look at what? Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati. What does it mean? Leaders look at wealth, power, identity. 3 things that we need to survive. They can see that every human being around you, your customer, your talent, your employees, your shareholder, everybody wants these 3 things. What is Arthashastra? Arthashastra is economics, study of Lakshmi. Arthashastra means politics, study of Durga. Arthashastra is also philosophy, psychology, Saraswati. All 3 things. Remember this. And how to remember this? This is what every human being wants. Everybody wants it. If you want to study branding, you have to study Durga. If you want to study branding, you have to study Durga. If you want to study strategy, you have to study Lakshmi. If you want to handle human resources, you have to understand Saraswati. How to remember this? Very simple. Remember LSD. This is not Ekta Kapoor's LSD. This is Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga. इसी का भोग लेने से सुख मिलता है, इसी से वैकुंठ बनता है. And I hope you find enough LSD in your life and create Vaikuntha around you so that Lakshmi walks your way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Devdatta ji. We'll have a quick question and answer session. Those who are interested in asking any question, I request them to please come over here so that we can share the mic. Be precise so that more number of persons will get chance to ask questions. Kindly ask only questions.
This is not a question, just I am expecting clarification. In which age, in which grade? Because human life is never going to be predicted. So at what extent and which level these things are going to be taken into consideration or to be followed in life?
You are taking it into consideration right now, you're just not aware of it. This is going on 24/7 even right now. हम देखते नहीं, दिखाई देता है. Steve Jobs understood the human need for simplicity and created iPad. हमने नहीं देखा, इसलिए हम Steve Jobs नहीं बने. But है, ये बचपन से है. दुनिया में ये सनातन है. ये सब जगह है. जो देखता है वो राजा बनता है.
Thank you.
Your book it has a name Sutra.
Yes.
And we have another Sutra which is called Shiva Sutra, which has got a profound concept, which also are hidden management principles. Whether you have gotten anything in this book from Shiva Sutra?
See, Shiva is associated with Vairagya. I am interested in Lakshmi. Otherwise, I won't write business sutra. और business सूत्र वैकुंठ. जब वैराग्य के लिए होगा टाइम तो हम लिख लेंगे शिव सूत्र.
Those who wish to ask question can come here and be in the queue so that we can complete the question answer session quickly.
You can observe certain customer requirements, but in given circumstances, you know that you cannot fulfill them.
Yes.
Then what to do?
Well, then you shouldn't be in business.
Yeah.
Very simple. If you want to be in business, you have to satisfy the requirements and you have to work towards it. For example, in a retail business, you can't allow bargaining because people love to bargain. Why do they love to bargain? Because when you bargain, you feel powerful. Right? So you create a discount system. Discounts are just retail version of bargaining. ताकि वो जब भाजी वाला के साथ झगड़ा होता है ना, so the housewife feels very powerful. Now she doesn't realize. Now the point is when she goes to an air-conditioned market, there's no bhaji wala to argue with. But now she deals, discounts. So what have you done? You've taken the same need to feel powerful in a different avatar. That's it.
You said three type of customers or three type of we need to entertain. One is your customer.
Yeah.
One is your shareholder.
Yes.
And third is regulator. What about regulator?
Same thing. You have
Regulator
to...
expects only one thing.
Sorry?
Regulator many a time expects Lakshmi.
That is a very cynical view of things. But everybody wants Lakshmi. Who doesn't want Lakshmi? You don't want Lakshmi?
That's true, but
अभी उसको लक्ष्मी अच्छा लगा तो तुमको बुरा लगा. ऐसे थोड़ी ना चलता है. तुम खाओगे मलाई और वो खाएगा दूध. That's life. Grow. Deal with it. And if you have the guts, get him arrested.
One thing we discussed was the patterns change day to day or in situation to situation.
Yes.
So like carrying on the point that was like Shiva Sutra and others. So basically I want to understand what we have discussed today. This was an orientation towards business, right? I mean I would have to take on a different understanding if I am in a different situation, situation not related to business. Maybe if I am a scientist, I would have a different set of understanding of this mythological concepts.
It's business sutra, no?
Yeah.
For business people.
Exactly.
I'm very clear. Focus. Scientist sutra nahi hai. It is business sutra. You want to make money? This is the book. I want to make money? It's fine. Read anything else.
So just to clarify, this mythological orientation that we are building is
Clear, no?
Have last two questions.
सर तुमचं सेशन ऐकून खूप प्रश्न मनात जागे झाले. मी वैकुंठात जाऊ इच्छितोय. मी सध्या इंद्र आहे. मला वैकुंठात जाण्यासाठी काय करावं हे एक असं सापडलं.
प्रथम पुस्तक घ्या. तू पुस्तक वाचा आणि स्टेप 3 मनन करा. Because it is all there in the scriptures. It's not simple. It is tapa. Tapa is not simple. Tapa करोगे तो मिल जाएगा लक्ष्मी.
Exactly, reading your book is a tapa.
इतना पैसा में इतना ही मिलेगा. Sorry.
Sir, I have a very different question from the session I've been going on. I have read all your books.
Can you speak into the mic? I can't hear you.
I said I have read all your books. I have a question related to that.
Yes.
I want your opinion. Do you really believe in God, or God is just an imagination of our ancestors?
So you are saying just an imagination as if it is something weird.
Yeah.
If you don't have imagination, you are an animal.
Right.
So you are human because you have imagination. Right? And if you imagine God, it is part of being human. If you don't imagine God also, it is part of being human. Both are imaginations. God exists, imagination. God doesn't exist, also imagination. ये भी माया है, वो भी माया.
Thank you, sir. We have last question.
Sir, Peter Drucker has given lots of marketing fundas,
Yes.
but he's not the greatest businessman. Same, you are giving lots of business sutra. What will be regarding you?
That is true. I'm not a great businessman.
But
See, the thing is, if you are a good businessman, why would you write a book?
following the fundas of sutra, if one can become a good businessman,
So
then why not
don't
you?
read. Don't read. मेरा कुछ नहीं जाता.
I'm asking about
Opportunity जा सकता है तुम्हारे लिए. मेरा कुछ नहीं जाने वाला. So choose. स्वाहा तुझा तथास्तु तुझा. That note, very powerful note.
Thank you, Devdatta ji. It has been a wonderful evening. Now I call upon our chairman, Sunil ji, President Sri Satish Kaliwal ji, and Chief